His son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. But his father ordered his servants, Quickly, bring the finest robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Take the fattened calf and slaughter it. Then let us celebrate with a feast. Because this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. He was lost and has been found. The Gospel of the Lord. In today's readings, we hear the all too familiar story of the prodigal son. It's a story of God's mercy and forgiveness, which makes us ask the question, which prodigal am I? The word prodigal, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, means to be wasteful or extravagant. In this way, we have to choose between being a prodigal like the younger son, like the elder son, or like the father. Although I think the reality is at some points in our lives, we are called to be prodigal like the father. Let's begin with the youngest son, which story is perhaps the most familiar to us. Here we have a young man who, in the words of St. Augustine, finds that his heart is restless. And so he heads off to fill this restlessness with material things. He spends his money, gets drunk, spends time with women, and then he hits rock bottom. And he comes to realize the other part of that quote, which we might miss as well, that our hearts are restless until they rest in you. Realizing this, he returns home to his father, prepared to live as only a servant. And his father, who sees him a long way off, welcomes him back. Sometimes we're prodigal then, like the son is prodigal. We search for our happiness. We search to fill this restlessness inside of us with material things, with promotions at work, with spending nights out drinking and having fun with our friends. But in the end, we find that there's something more, there's something missing. And if it's at our best, we realize that what's missing from our lives is God. And we return to the church. We return to the Father. Sometimes we're prodigal like the elder son. Now, this son seems to have it all figured out. He doesn't demand anything from his father. He does the work that he's supposed to do. He stays home. And in this way, we're reminded of St. Paul before his conversion. You see, Paul was a pious Jew. He followed the law. He knew what was the right thing to do, and he did it. And yet it wasn't enough. And God made sure he knew this when he knocked him off of his donkey. Now you might be thinking, well, how is this me? How am I prodigal like this? We're prodigal like this other son where we are wasteful with our mercy. We refuse to give it. When we see that car out in the parking lot that says, I'm both Catholic and pro-choice, and you say, that's not possible. Or when we see someone coming up to communion and they receive communion on their tongue, and we think, oh, look at how pious that individual is. In fact, I think a lot of us will see it here in a few weeks when Easter comes around. And some of our brothers and sisters will be returning to worship with us who haven't been here since Christmas. And our thoughts will go, these Creaster Catholics are back again, taking my seat in my parking spot. See, we feel we're entitled to something because we have done the work. We have put in the time. We come to Mass every Sunday and we abstain from meat on Fridays during Lent. And so we refuse to give our mercy, and we become prodigal like the elder son. And then when we're at our best, we're prodigal like the father is. See, whereas both sons are prodigal in their wastefulness, the father is prodigal in his extravagance. He sees his younger son a way off. He was looking for him, waiting for him to come home. And he runs out to meet him. And he elevates him back to that coveted post as his son. And then there's the elder son, who hears the party, hears the celebration, and refuses to come in. And so the Father goes out to him as well. And he says, please come, join us. This isn't just a celebration for your brother. This is a celebration for you. You see, the Father shows us an important point, a point that's brought out beautifully by St. Paul in his letter to the Corinthians. It is God who comes to us to reconcile with us. When we come to confession to be reconciled with the Father, God returns to us. When we come to Mass Sunday after Sunday, it is God himself coming to us under the guise of bread and wine. He desires to be with us. He wants us. And all it takes for us is to humble ourselves and to join him. Our story, our gospel reading today, it ends a little bit on a cliffhanger. It leaves us wondering, what happened? Did the elder son go into the party and welcome his brother home as a brother? Did the younger son come out from the party to meet his older brother and beg for his forgiveness as well, recognizing that he had wronged his brother? We're called to be ambassadors of the mercy we have received, called to go inside to the party and rejoice, called to come out of the party and seek forgiveness. Whether we're prodigal through wasting our resources, prodigal through refusing our mercy, or prodigal through extravagantly giving our mercy, we are all called to enter into the feast, to taste and see that the Lord is good, to be prodigal like the Father is prodigal, and to invite everyone, no matter what their sin, no matter what their political affiliation, no matter what their faults, to enter into the peace and offer forgiveness.